video either, but
what's crazy, man? Nigga was in the car.
On God. Man, just like 3 days ago.
We said something about Pettis or something. What we saying something about Craig?
Something.
Man, but nigga got the check and the nigga said, man, Craig Pettis look ass, nigga.
He said, you don't even know a Craig Pettis.
You don't even know nobody named Craig Pettis, man. Ain't nobody in this world named Craig Pettis. Nigga talking about, I'm from Memphis.
On God.
Nigga named Craig Pettis from Memphis.
If y'all don't know, we from Memphis. He from West Memphis. I'm from West Memphis, but I grew up in Memphis type shit. So we technically 10 minutes right down the street from the city right now. Type shit. I ain't gonna lie.
But today we got 19XX with a crime doc on Craig Pettis.
It's 10 minutes and 15 seconds.
His name is the Crack Era Killer. So we finna see how he got that crack off in this cold city of Memphis, Tennessee. Y'all, I'm buttered as hell.
Oh, we did just kill a roast blunt.
No Harbor Freight for affordability, but durability goes right along with it. You see, we test.
It's the late 1990s in Memphis, Tennessee.
Let's lock in.
The air's thick with tension.
Hold on, y'all. I'm tweaking. Didn't even start the goddamn screen record. We butter right now, y'all. Let's get back to it, y'all.
It's the late 1990s in Memphis, Tennessee. The air's thick with tension. Gang tags scrawl the walls. Dealers whisper on street corners. Their pockets heavy with crack rocks and wads of cash. But behind all of this stood a name almost no one dared to speak. Craig.
That nigga didn't even want to say Craig Pettis' name.
Yet he was a ghost.
Telling you, man. Craig Pettis.
This is the story of how a kid from Memphis built a criminal empire stretching all the way to Mexico's notorious Sinaloa cartel.
Damn.
And how it all came crashing down.
Pettis,
cartel from the
Craig Pettis was born in 1976 in Riverside, one of Memphis' most unforgiving neighborhoods. His single mother, Evergene Pettis, worked tirelessly, but the streets had their own allure. By age 15, it was the 90s, and Craig was already going the wrong way.
That ain't no Craig, no damn 15. He
instantly said hell no.
Hell no.
If he 15, them niggas back in the day would look like some goddamn old man.
I ain't gonna lie, since
that hairline is crazy.
Akbar. What's that nigga name? Nah. This nigga name Gaddafi.
That nigga
that was it.
I can't even repeat that, y'all.
My fault, y'all.
We come in peace. We come in peace.
I'm high as a bitch, y'all. My fault. Now I'm watching some shit on Gaddafi from the Outlaws. And man, that man died when he was 19. Man, they had videos of that man with Tupac. Man, nigga was like 6'4" with a beard and shit. With braids back like Michael Beasley. Man, hell no, I know why you 18, 19, 17, bro. Man, hell no.
Bro, this nigga is retarded, y'all.
Man, these niggas be old as hell in the 90s. Old ass young niggas.
Oh, God.
He took the crime route to riches, unlike his half-brother DJ Paul.
Damn!
This world is small, bro.
DJ Paul.
That means one of their parents are the same.
They either had the same dad or they was raised with the same mom. That's crazy.
That's facts.
He took the crime route to riches, unlike his half-brother DJ Paul, of later 3-6 Mafia fame. Petty's first arrest came when he accidentally fired a sawed-off shotgun inside his own house.
Damn!
Before long, he was dealing crack. At 16, he was charged with attempted murder after shooting a rival named Eric Cole. He got lucky, escaping adult charges due to his age, but a psychological evaluation labeled him impulsive, angry, and rebellious, traits that would later define his career. 1995, the year that changed everything.
Career.
Craig Pettis had been hustling for years, but he was still small time. That was about to change.
That hairline is nuts.
His cousin, Antonio Big Wayne Allen, tipped him off about $500,000 in cash hidden inside a seized Chevy Lumina, sitting inside a Memphis impound lot. The money belonged to a recently arrested dealer. Breaking in was risky, but the loot was too big to ignore. Big Wayne was too hefty to scale the fence, but Pettis, smaller and more agile, had no such problem. At night, he climbed over, grabbed the stash, and walked away with a life-changing sum.
Come on now.
Pettis and Big Wayne split it.
That boy came
Pettis
up
walked away with 50 grand, more cash than he had ever seen. Most teens would have blown it on luxuries. Pettis saw the bigger picture. He treated the money as capital, immediately reinvesting it into wholesale cocaine.
Man, he said
this nigga talk about that shit like a real business.
Like it's a real estate company.
He immediately invested into wholesale cocaine. That boy getting it for the low and bulk.
Bulk. He come in bulk. He don't come with this small
wholesale cocaine
bag shit.
In months, he turned that 50K into multiple six figures.
Damn.
He wasn't just throwing rocks in the war. He was building an empire.
Oh, that boy said
Pettis focused on distribution, recruiting childhood friends, and trusted associates to help him move product. He was buying kilos, sourcing them from Texas and California, and using stash houses to distribute across state lines. This shift made him one of the fastest rising figures in the Memphis drug game. He was smart, cautious, and ambitious. But he also knew the real power wasn't in Memphis. It was in Mexico. So he made the boldest move of his career. He went straight to the source. While most dealers in Memphis were fighting over street corners, Pettis was playing a different game. By the late 90s, he had direct ties to Edgar LaBarbie Valdez Villarreal, a high-ranking figure in the Beltran Leyva faction of the Sinaloa cartel. For a young black man from Memphis to be accepted into the highest ranks of the Mexican cartel world, that was unheard of. But Pettis didn't just join the cartel. He became one of their most valuable partners. He flooded Memphis with cartel-supplied coke, turning the city into a major drug hub. Interstate 55 and I-40 weren't just roads anymore. They were pipelines.
Pipelines, boy! Them folks been get high.
Them folks bringing that dope in, man.
Boy,
this shit is crazy.
Craig Pettis.
Weren't just roads anymore. They were pipelines. Arteries pumping millions of dollars in drugs.
What's that arteries
every
pumping?
month. At its peak, Pettis was reportedly moving over 1,500 kilograms of cocaine a month.
Damn!
Shipments arriving in hidden compartments inside tractor trailers, charter planes.
We got to weigh that up.
Nigga said we got to weigh that up. Money
He
crazy.
said how many?
1,050 a month.
Peak. Pettis was reportedly moving over 1,500 kilograms of cocaine a month.
1,500 a month.
With shipments arriving.
1,500 kilos of coke a month. Damn!
3,000 pounds. Almost. Oh
that
my
boy was
God.
shipping off a ton.
Almost 3,364 pounds a month. Oh my God.
15, 18, 21, 27, 30, 33, 36.
God.
39. That's down to about 3.9 million pounds a year. That's almost 4 million pounds of cocaine a year.
Dude is a fucking beast in the streets.
That's crazy.
4
million a year. 4 million pounds a year. You know how much a pound is worth?
While we pause, remember what this type of lifestyle
in the 90s
ends 2 ways. Don't forget that.
And that gravy in that cell.
Back to it.
Find you something positive doing, stick to it.
Hidden compartments inside tractor trailers, charter planes, and even rail cars.
That was crazy.
His operation extended beyond Memphis, supplying dealers in Texas, Georgia, Mississippi, and North Carolina. The profits were astronomical. So were the stakes. With power came paranoia. Pettis understood that in his field, fear was currency. And every so often, examples had to be made. 2002, Pettis learns his own cousin Antonio Allen had become an informant. The betrayal.
That nigga killed me!
Antonio.
He look mad.
Pettis learns his own cousin Antonio Allen had become an informant.
The
betrayal cut deep, but emotion had no place in such world. He put a $100,000 bounty on Allen's head. Tobias Pride, one of his most trusted hitmen, carried out the execution. Allen's body was found riddled with bullets. 2004, Latrell Small and Kalonji Griffin thought they could steal from Pettis and get away with it. Clarence Killer Brody of ruthless enforcer and Pettis' crew
He
lured
dead.
them to what they thought was another job. Instead, he climbed into the backseat of their car and shot both men in the back of the head.
Damn.
The bodies were dumped like garbage. 2005,
Boy, these niggas
Mario
dangerous.
Stewart. Pettis discovered he had been feeding into law enforcement. Stewart was killed inside his own home,
Damn.
mere feet away from his children.
Damn.
It wasn't just a message to informants. It was a psychological war tactic. 2006, Marcus
Boy
turned his
said,
death
we will kill you at your home with your kids in that bitch. Snitch if you want.
Okay.
particularly brutal. Pettis' organization believed Turner knew the whereabouts of a missing associate who had stolen millions of dollars worth of coke.
Damn.
They kidnapped him, held him captive for 3 days, and tortured him in multiple locations across Memphis. Turner didn't have the answers they wanted, but it didn't matter. His captors executed him anyway, leaving his battered body in a ditch across the Mississippi state line.
Damn.
2007, when Mario McNeil made the mistake of threatening Pettis' mother, the retaliation was swift and public.
Boy,
Come on,
that
that
nigga
was
said
stupid.
swift and uppity. Look
That
now.
was stupid. Why would you
Instead of
threaten the
threatening Pettis'
kingpin
mother,
mama?
the retaliation was swift and public.
Oh, swift
Pettis'
and public.
enforcer, Martin Lewis, gunned McNeil down in broad daylight at a busy Memphis restaurant.
Damn.
By now, Pettis wasn't just a drug dealer. He was a warlord, running his empire like a military operation. His enforcers acted like death squads, carrying out assassinations with the efficiency of professional hitmen. City bled. But all the while, Pettis had been orchestrating it all from a distance, nowhere near Memphis, in fact. Since 2002, Pettis had been a resident of Querétaro. In 2002, after a massive cocaine bust, Pettis was indicted,
with the cartel.
but he didn't wait around for handcuffs. He fled to Mexico.
Ooh,
Pettis
you know
didn't
about
just
that.
disappear. He thrived. With his direct ties to the Sinaloa cartel, Pettis found refuge in Querétaro, a wealthy and relatively quiet region north of Mexico City.
He living
He
good.
lived in a sprawling estate with high walls, security cameras, and armed guards. He enjoyed all the luxuries of a cartel kingpin: private chefs, expensive cars, and an elite security detail including corrupt local cops. Pettis also kept a low profile, avoiding the excess flamboyance that had brought down the other honchos before him. Instead of partying in nightclubs and drawing attention, he moved in exclusive circles, socializing only with trusted cartel associates and Mexican officials who were on the cartel's payroll. Mexican authorities were either too afraid or too well paid to interfere with his operations. Even in exile, Pettis continued to oversee his Memphis operation. Using burner phones and coded messages, he remained in control of shipments moving from Mexico into the U.S. His network was so efficient that at one point, Memphis was receiving direct shipments of coke hidden inside tractor trailers packed with produce. But life in Mexico wasn't entirely secure. His presence attracted the attention of rivals, and even within the Sinaloa cartel, there were those who resented his success. As an outsider running a major drug operation within a Mexican cartel, he was always at risk. Over time, whispers began to circulate that Pettis was drawing too much attention and that his days were numbered. On January 10, 2008, Mexican military forces launched a massive raid on his estate in Querétaro. Helicopters hovered overhead as snipers took position. Federal agents stormed the mansion, overwhelming his guards and dragging Pettis out in handcuffs. Within hours, Pettis was extradited to the United States, dragging Pettis out in handcuffs.
Diamond boy. Look at that hoe.
That look like Richard.
Oh, God. That hoe look like Richard Millie back in 07.
Big watch up, man.
Within hours, Pettis was extradited to the United States. It was the end of his 6 years as a fugitive. 2012, the trial was a spectacle. Craig Pettis' trial wasn't just another drug case. It was a landmark moment in the history of organized crime in Memphis. Federal prosecutors laid out their case meticulously. Witness after witness took the stand. Former associates, rival dealers, and even his own enforcers, all eager to save themselves from life sentences. But the fear of cartel retaliation loomed over the courtroom. Jurors were kept anonymous for their own safety. Some witnesses testified from undisclosed locations, their voices altered and their faces hidden. The prosecution's evidence was overwhelming. They had wiretapes capturing his voice ordering hits, financial records exposing millions in laundered drug money, testimonies from his hitmen, detailing murder after murder carried out at his command. The federal government had built an ironclad case against him.
This DJ Paul, bro.
2013. The verdict was swift and brutal. 9 life sentences, no parole, no appeals, and the knowledge that he'd be at the cartel's mercy for the remainder of his life. Craig Pettis wasn't just a drug dealer. He was an anomaly. A street-level hustler who climbed the ranks to work with the world's most dangerous cartel. Like many before him, Pettis was just another kingpin who mistook power for permanence. The game continues with a new generation of players, many who've never even heard his name. Feel free to suggest a story you want to see using the link in the description. Also, 19XX is on Patreon.
Suge Knight look nasty.
Don't forget.
He should not run the niggas over.
That's why he in jail.
Oh, God.
He ran over somebody and they died.
Damn. This nigga running niggas over.
He was old too.
I ain't gonna lie. Craig Pettis, the crack king, man.
Man, come on now. That man carrying out
with the cartel.
Executions.
A young
not
nigga,
hits,
a young nigga
executions.
from the bluff himself.
Straight across the road.
Found out somebody got locked up, jumped the light gate, took the main loop, and went and flipped that shit all the way up to the cartel. But
turned to a millionaire.
he flipped it right into the fucking jail cell. Don't do crime or you will get caught. It's 2025.
You see where he at.
They had wild taps, everything. They will tap your ass, pause, and they will catch your ass
Literally.
on camera.
Literally belt to ass. Thank y'all for tuning in. That's a 19XX Crime Reacts video. Look at that. Shout out Flight Reacts, one of the inspiration to starting this channel. Anyway, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit
that motherfucking bell so y'all know we drop a motherfucking reaction video. MotionReacts, we out this bitch.